We talk a lot about how to win in the courtroom, but how do we win when it comes on to our daughters?
How old are you?
I'm 22.
Single?
What if you're in jail? Does that count?
Why can't jail?
Kill somebody.
How long in jail for?
15 years.
You gonna hold him down?
No.
So you single?
Yes.
Does he still think y'all in a relationship?
Yes.
Fighting for fairness, one dad at a time.
What's up, guys? Kevin Parkinson back with another episode of Father's Win. We're going to go over some viral videos today because there is always this elephant in the room when it comes on to being a father, especially a father to a daughter. And that is, how do you talk about the sex? It's a real thing. And my daughter is about to turn 10. So we're very far away from having to deal with that reality, thank God. But it is a reality. And in a world where casual sex is becoming so commonplace, we as fathers, I think, are going to be really necessary in ensuring that we're letting our children know that there are consequences that come with that. We're going to jump into some videos and we're going to go over how to best address these consequences because of the culture that's around our children today.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
Single?
What if you're in jail? Does that count?
Why can't jail?
Kill somebody.
How long in jail for?
15 years.
You gonna hold him down?
No.
So you single?
Yes.
Does he still think y'all in a relationship?
Yes.
Have you ever messed with a dude since he been in jail?
No, but I'm about to
When?
tonight
Why tonight? What made you choose tonight to cheat?
because I'm ovulated.
That's real. So what's your type? What type of dude do you go for?
I don't discriminate.
White dude, black dude, Indian dude?
I got to see the before we take it any further.
So what's like the ideal size?
I like small, like 7 inches or
Oh, okay. We'll pause it right here because this young lady, she's completely out of pocket. Why? I mean, hey, she has a right to like what she likes, but video footage, photography, film, even books, things people have written down, have the ability to last forever. And this new generation of people growing up, they're not incompetent, they're not stupid. Every generation had their era where they were young and vibrant and had the opportunity to have a lot of fun. That's cool. But are we letting our young people know as fathers, hey, that paper trail that you leave could be with you for the rest of your life? The way you conduct yourself in society, in front of a camera, should be in a way that you're going to be proud of when you're 27, when you're 57, and when you're 77 years old. This is a lot of information to divulge. And the trick that is always pushed on young people, especially our daughters, is that there are no consequences. The party's never going to be over. You're always going to be young and have options, and the world is going to be your oyster. But we know that's not true.
you know.
You want to get married?
Yes, I do.
At what age?
When I turn 30,
If you had to sell your coochie, how much would you sell it for?
1,500 and 2,000 if you want a nut in it.
What level of education?
I'm not exaggerating with my body language right now. This is sad. This isn't entertainment. And it goes both ways. To the guy who's using her for content, this is pretty lame. To the young lady who's participating, this is pretty lame. And I'll explain why in a second.
Do you have?
Associate's degree in arts.
I feel like women that can't read, can't do math, all that type of stuff.
You should have been swallowed. Like, who made you?
Could you read?
Yes, I can read fluently.
Can we test the theory?
Yes, we can.
Read the index card.
The philosophical. You made that up. Them is not words in the dictionary. You made that shit up.
Oh, them is words.
The philosophical dictomy generated considerable discourage among distinguished scholars.
What school did you go? What school? What college?
I graduated from Kilgore College in East Texas.
You just tell them not to go there?
Don't go there because all I did was niggas and my way up to get my science degree.
Okay, that's enough of that. That's not fun. The point that the host is making is that this woman's a hypocrite because she's saying that she expects a partner to be able to read because she can, and these weren't the hardest words in the world. She had a very hard time pronouncing them. When I was in college, and I was going to a historically black college, Shaw University, Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm very proud of my school. And there were problems back in 2008, 2009, that era of my school. We had problems with the dorms. We had problems with the cafeteria. There were just issues with the school. Like normal student body, we complained a lot. And I had a camera in my hand and I was documenting as much as I could. I was also showing how some students were living. And my good friend at the time, Javon, he asked me, "Hey man, what are you gonna do with all those clips?" And I said, "Man, I'm gonna put these on my show, Shaw TV, and I'm gonna show the nature in which we're living in and how people are choosing to live in these dorms." And he looked at me and he said, "Don't embarrass your people. That's not gonna change anything." And I said, "Wow." I really had to sit back and think with that. And he said, "Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to embarrass your people to try to create change." And I think the same is true with these street journalists who go around and get people to admit to these ridiculous things for content. What you're doing isn't illegal, but it's not really going to change anything. I think how you create change through media is that you start to broadcast the change you want to see. For every single video like this, where a young lady is disparaging herself, intentionally or not, there needs to be 20 videos of a young lady explaining how classy she is, how she likes to go to the library and read, how she enjoys getting to know people and learn about the world and languages and arts and science and things like that. I think it's very lowbrow to go after people who are genuinely this ignorant to how much they could be hurting themselves. And that goes back to us being fathers. We got to really explain to our daughters, like, everyone's not your friend. Every piece of information isn't to be divulged. The world being your oyster and giving you whatever you want stops around 29, 30 years old. And a lot of that depends on how physically appealing you are. But if you cultivate yourself to be a lady, to actually be giving the world something, and that doesn't mean everyone's going to be an engineer or a painter, but if you're contributing in a meaningful way to your community, you'll be celebrated and protected much longer than somebody who just has their body uh, to offer their community. We're going to hop into this next video here.
Y'all see how pretty I am? I'm sweet. I'm very smart. I read. I work. I'm very soft. I cook. I clean. And I am not married. But it's not that I don't need a man for nothing. No, I need a man. I was created. I'm a helpmate. I can't wait to be that.
I like that. I dig that. That is very biblical and that's right on time. Again, even the Bible tells us not everybody has to be married. Like, you don't have to be married to go to heaven. Absolutely not. But if you choose to be married, you should have a desire to be in partnership with somebody and do life together, whether that's with children or not. So she's hitting it right out of the park already.
But the mistake that I made and the mistake that a lot of you are making, once you lay down with them, it's good as dead. And a lot of us don't know that. A lot of us didn't know that. I didn't know that. Especially when you come from an environment where casual sex is the focus, casual sex is promoted.
Yeah.
Then you grow up doing that.
I like what she's saying. I'm 39 years old, but I swear that I'm really 59. I pride myself on getting older. I look forward to getting older. Like all guys who are around 39 years old, I've lost people in this journey called life. So I really value being alive. One thing that I stand on, which I know makes me seem older than I am, is that teenage sex is unnecessary. I don't believe in it. Now, I didn't lose my virginity till I was 20. I was trying to wait till marriage, failed miserably, but because I have no experience with sexuality before the age of 20, I truly believe that it benefited me more than it hurt me. There really was no need to partake in sexuality. Now, that's not saying that anybody who did is a bad, evil person whatsoever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the idea of casual sex usually starts around 13, 14 years old. I remember being 12 years old and people talking about experiencing sex for the first time. I thought, hey, I'm grown up in Los Angeles, California. It's just how it is. But this is a worldwide thing. And it's not that crazy of a thing because of the reality that happens. I don't think it should happen, though. And I think she's going to explain a little more why we shouldn't push the idea of casual sex being no big deal on young people.
I had plenty of good men. None of it ended with a ring. The moral of the story is, I don't care. You could be drop dead gorgeous. Do you see me? And if you saw me in person, if you met me in person, the energy is on 10. I'm everything unmarried. Because I slept with him. So if you sleep with him, your looks ain't gonna get you there, big dog. Having a baby is just not gonna get you there. If you want a ring, the longer you can keep yourself out of a bed, your value, it goes up. It's not too late. It's not too late to start living like this and understanding this.
I really like what she's saying. And I think this is the message that we got to pour more into our young ladies. That it is okay to not be like everybody else. And again, if somebody falls short, that's fine. It's not the end of their life. But I don't think there's enough content circulating these interwebs, reminding us as dads that, hey, even though culture tells us that, we're the big cavemen and we're mad if our daughters are touched. Yeah, that's composed of that are true. But are we doing a good enough job of explicitly looking at our daughters in the face and telling them, hey, you don't have to be having sex at an early age. If you can wait for marriage, great. If you don't, at least do it in a controlled environment. What does controlled environment mean? You're an adult. You're 19. You're 20 years old. You are no longer a child. You are with somebody who you actually love, care about, and somebody who you wouldn't be afraid to actually do life with. Are things going to happen along the way? Of course. Is it a tall order to ask of anybody in this society where sex is everywhere, from social media to movies to commercials? Of course it is. But I think we have to have more reassurance going out the door with our children every day to remind them you don't have to be partaking in everything everybody does. Just because marijuana is legal doesn't mean you got to be smoking. Just because you can go buy a pack of cigarettes at 18 doesn't mean you need to get hooked on that tobacco wacky, as I used to call it. You don't have to be fornicating if you don't want to. It's not something that makes you who you are. But we're not talking about this enough. We're seeing a lot of people idolized and celebrated for their sexuality. But let me ask you something. When was the last time somebody's sexuality made you a cheeseburger, got you paid, created a semiconductor, built a car engine, designed a house? Never. But there's such a precedent put on it because there's so much money to be made around it, and our children are the products. Are we having these conversations with our children, with our daughters? And that doesn't mean our sons are off the hook, of course. And I'm going to be honest with you. As a man, I want the ladies to be very interested in my son. I want my son to be a hot commodity. But he'll know that I will not be more proud of him because of the amount of women he can date than I would be because of how great of a young man he turns into, how good of a person he is. How do you measure goodness? What is he doing for other people? What is he doing for society? It's not enough to just stay out of trouble. You're supposed to stay out of trouble. But what are you doing to make your life better, the world a better place? What are you doing to contribute? How are you making yourself the best version of yourself possible? Let's finish this video.
But the first thing is repentance. You gotta go ahead and make that vow. You gotta say, I'm not gonna fall victim to premarital sex ever again. You've had enough of that. I've had enough of that. So commit to getting to the other side of what it really means to allow God to bring love into your life as possible. I come from an environment where I didn't see marriages. I didn't see healthy relationships. I didn't understand that was a possibility. But now that I know that it is, it's my responsibility as an adult to act differently, to make different choices. Your looks just not gonna get you there. You're beautiful. But that's not what it's about. Think about it.
Well, amen to that. And shout out to that young lady for telling her truth. I know this was a detour away from courtroom drama, but I think it's not just important that we as men show up in our children's lives. We on this channel have to talk more about what we're talking about when we're talking to our children. Because what is the point of being a father if we are not instilling things into our children to make them better people? You know, I once heard somebody say, it's a fool's errand to try to change the world. It's a fool's errand. Why would you try to make the world a better place? You can't. You know why? You're not Jesus. You cannot change the world. Jesus Christ changed the world. Dr. Martin Luther King changed the United States of America and a lot of that echoed around the world. People come once a generation and change the world. You know, in my mind, Jesus did it the best, but it's very rare and it's very hard and it usually requires you sacrificing your life. What you can do that usually doesn't require you cutting your life short is change yourself, change your family, and then the world around your family is going to be forced to interact with you differently. And then you get to see a better place. Michael Jackson said in his song, Man in the Mirror, I'm started with the man in the mirror. And that makes the most sense. And guys, our kids are a reflection of us. So not until right now in this moment, I'm realizing Michael Jackson was using that as a double entendre. The man in the mirror, then you look at your children, that's a mirror of you. Your wife is a reflection of you. Start there. And I bet we'll start seeing the change we want to see in the world. I hope this has been a great episode of Father's Win, and I will catch you on the next episode. Peace.